Rockhampton is a difficult place to get to at the moment. Much of the land around it is pretty much an inland sea. So we're lucky enough to be getting a lift with an Australian government minister aboard an Australian Defence Force Black Hawk helicopter. Apologies for the audio problems. This is a very noisy helicopter. But really the sight that we've seen on the way in is quite extraordinary. The floodwaters start a long way outside of Rockhampton, but as you approach, it is very much as was described, something resembling an inland sea, and we've seen whole sections of this city submerged, many houses, many properties. The swollen Fitzroy River is really quite a sight to see. It is absolutely bulging. It's spreading out over vast parts of this city. Of all the quite spectacular things to see across Rockhampton at the moment, this spot has become the most photographed in town because of that sign marker there. It's the high water marker, which shows just how high the water has come up. You can see that it's at 9.2 metres. It's been there for a couple of days now. That's a bit more than 30 feet. It was expected to go higher. It hasn't. That's good. It means that thousands more homes will not be affected by the floodwaters. But you can see in the past it has gone higher still. Back in 91, back in the 1950s, and back in 1918 it was more than 10 metres, which is, given what we've seen today, really quite extraordinary to think about. But as you stand here and watch the river flow past, the thing that really strikes you is just the speed of the water and the sheer volume of the water that is moving down the Fitzroy at the moment. And like I said, it's been like this for several days, and the expectation is, the prediction is, that flood marking will not significantly drop down for at least a week. G'day, mate.
How you going, mate?
Good, how are you going?
Good.
You got a long paddle home?
Down the bottom of the street. Take 10 minutes.
We are cruising through the suburb of Depot Hill, and it is almost certainly one of the worst hit areas. But there's a real mix of fortune here, as you see in sort of almost any flood zone. To be fair, a kilometre over that way you'll see people who aren't affected at all, but here you can see the waters have come right up, swamping trucks, swamping houses, certainly the low-lying houses, the ones that are built on stilts and so forth. They're in better shape, and they're the ones that people are still able to live in, although often without electricity, and they've got to travel in and out by boat just to get around. And take a look at this. This is a street, but at the moment it resembles a fairly fast-moving river. There's a real current that's coming. That water is coming right off the Fitzroy River, which is just literally at the end of that street, and you can feel the boat being caught in the current as we move into it. So the water's still coming in here, and the locals reckon it's even been coming up over the last couple of days. This place has become something of an international legend over the last week or so. The Fitzroy Hotel, the pub that is still open despite the fact it is pretty much underwater. Don't say these blokes don't have a sense of humour. The Fitzroy Flotel.
I'm rolling now.
I haven't seen any of it. I've got no power.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Trust me, mate, you've been seen everywhere.
Truly.
Yeah. Tony, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what's your surname? Tony?
Higgins.
Tony Higgins. You're the publican here.
Yeah.
And you're still operating.
Yes, we are.
Is that fun or is it hard work?
No, it's fun. Look, it's the boys have really come here to see if they can find out what's going on. They swap information. There's 3 boats just left before you got here. You probably passed them on the way. It's more of a social centre. They have a drink or a soft drink or something, then they go on to do another job. Has so-and-so been looked after? Has anyone checked on them today? It's a bit of camaraderie and very much community spirit, which is what they do here.
Yeah. Did you get lucky? Did the water just not quite make it in, or did it come? That's it.
It's sensational. So
Automatic waterfront.
Greg Diamond Floods has looked after me, but that's only me. You know, like that's very unimportant in the scale of things. This is a major disaster, really.
There is one thing we haven't seen, either on the boat or wandering through town, that all the locals reckon they have seen, and that is snakes. People here talk about a snake invasion as the floodwaters have forced the snakes from their land, and they all talk about having very close encounters with them. And they say that the snakes will even go for you in the water, thinking that you're a piece of dry wood or something to get away from the water from. There are even stories about them climbing up trees and falling down onto unsuspecting boats and that sort of stuff. But I think that's perhaps a bit of a story to scare unsuspecting journos from out of town, but the locals swear that's not the case.